Hello everyone, I'm ReFabFashion. I'm a Boston-based reseller of mostly clothing and accessories, both men's and women's, on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And I'm so excited to do this video. This is my top 20 items of total profit. So profit from the platforms. So after my cost of goods, after any shipping discounts, and after the platform fees, these are the top items that I walked away with the most coming into my bank account. And 2023 had some interesting sales. Not all of these were the highest selling price items, but where I could get a lower cost of goods, my profit margin was better. Some of these I paid up for, some I didn't. And all of these took less than 3 months to sell. One was just at that 90-day mark, but all of these were kind of hotter items, more desirable, and demanded more money. So let's go through. I'm going to go from highest to lowest, start with the most exciting. This first one, I don't have a great close-up photo. This was a Totem brand, a rust orange cardigan, button front. It was new with tags, a merino wool. And I was able to find the stock photos. This sold on eBay for $239.99 plus some shipping. So my, again, this earnings here was from eBay, but then I had a cost of goods of $8.69. So my net profit from this was $196.41, and this sold in 20 days. This I found at a Goodwill, and in this Goodwill they have a section of like more selected items, which can range, there's like American Eagle on this rack, but I did this day find actually a nice designer item. So I was really excited to find this. I think they do price it higher, so although my average was over $8 per item that day, I think I paid $15 or $20 for this item. But this was a quick sale in 20 days and my highest profit that came into my bank account. The next item, next highest profit item is this men's brand called Taylor Stitch. This was a blazer and it had a title, the Everyday Blazer Sport Coat. It was this blue with this flecking, a multicolored fleck to the material. So I could not find, I did find the stock photo as you see. So here's the multicolor, but I couldn't find any. I found the Everyday Blazer for comps, but I could not find this exact one on any of the reselling platforms. This is the tag here. So as you see, I did find that this sells new for $348. I forgot what I listed it for initially, but it sold for $225. It was a size 44, so a pretty good size. And I took my time here to really, some of this was from the company website, but I take my time to really describe the item and to do all the measurements and extra measurements for these. So my average cost of goods this day, this was at a Goodwill in Boston, was $5.59. This, as I said, sold for $225, so my net profit was $174, and this took 27 days to sell. So this is a brand I definitely look for. I don't know, I haven't sold too much from this brand, but I would look up anything in this brand, whether it's a blazer, this kind of big, nicer piece, or even just a basic shirt. I would look it up. If it's in good condition, I would really consider reselling it. This item here is sold on eBay. This was the third highest profit. This is a Pendleton moto jacket, but with this great Southwestern print, 82% wool. This was a size extra large, which was great. Sold on eBay in the fall time for $212.50. The buyer paid shipping. And after my cost of goods, which was an average this day of $20.81, this coat, I forget what I paid for it exactly. I think this was priced close to $50, but I was able to find it and comp it in the store and knew that I would get a good return. But I do average cost of goods in my tracking. So an average cost of goods of $20.81. My net profit was $158.87. So again, my third highest here. Here's some better pictures. I was able to find a couple stock photos, and I took my time taking pictures, zipped and not. It did have some pilling throughout, but I didn't think that was a big deal. And there were two kind of wear spots. This was at the front bottom hem. That's the pocket zipper. So I did note that in my listing. But this was a really great piece. I was thankfully able to find the exact name, the Geolux Moto jacket. And I put some keywords. And yeah, this was a great sale. This took 10 days to sell on eBay. This next one, also a great find. This is Loro Piana, which is a high-end brand, very expensive. These are women's jeans, a US 8, and these were pure white. I did not find any stains, I believe. These sold on eBay. I found these at a community thrift shop, and pants and jeans here are just $4, and they do have a higher end rack that they put out, but they, I guess, did not know that this was a high-end brand. So it was just $4 to me, and it sold, as I said, on eBay for $159.99, so my net profit was $134, and this sold in 18 days. And yeah, I don't see any photos here where I pointed out a stain or anything, so I think these were, yep, pristine, no flaws, and which was amazing to find. I definitely checked it over at this thrift shop. The lighting's not great, but as I've mentioned in a previous video, with white, I actually don't mind if I miss some stains, because usually I can use bleach in the wash and get the stains out of a pure white item. I wouldn't have wanted to do it to these, being such a high end. So I really took my time to look it over, but even if I had to discount it, I think, $4 into 50, if there was a big flaw, would have been a great flip anyway. The next item, next highest item here is this brand called Alpenrock, which I learned about from another YouTube reseller. I forget who it is who talked about that. But this was a kind of fitted Henley long sleeve thermal shirt. They have number sizing, but this was about a size medium. And this was a collaboration. So Alpenrock is a brand, but then this Gorsuch Aspen is, I believe, a ski resort. So this was a collaboration piece. But I did find, as you see, the stock photo, and I think I saw one sold when I was doing a comp check, but this sold for $174.99 on eBay. Here's some better photos. The stock photo was really great of the back embroidery, and these are my photos of the item itself. And I just tried to do a lot of close-ups of all the details here, but Gorsuch exclusive. I have a better photo here. Yeah, so this was the ski resort, I believe, and then Alpenrock is the brand. This I found on ThreadUp, so I did some arbitrage here. I paid $31.99, but what was great is they had, their standard mannequin photos of the item, so I was able to Google Lens and find it before deciding to put that kind of money into it. And it paid off. So about $32 into $175. So my net profit was $119 and change, and this took only 6 days to sell on eBay. I do have another item in my shop right now. This was the first item I found of the Alpenrock and sold. And I do have a second one now. It's a short sleeve polo, a smaller size, women's. And there's some interest. I have it priced maybe close to $100, but I think it's going to sell more at $50. So this, I think the Gorsuch collaboration exclusive is a better subline to look out for. The next highest item profit-wise was an Outdoor Research men's hoodie jacket in an extra large. I was able to find the stock photo, the exact style name and everything, and this was in pretty good condition. I found this at a local Savers. My average cost of goods this day was $9.19, and I listed it in December of 2022, and it sold a month later in January of 2023. and sold for $149. And as you see, the new price that I found was $219. So this was a pretty in demand. I don't think it was a new item, but certainly not old enough to have to drop the price too much. But I like to do photos of the kind of details and take a little more time on my higher priced items. So my net profit on this was $110, and it took 32 days to sell. The next highest item profit-wise was this Farm Rio, sold at Anthropologie dress, new with tags. So I had the style name and I could find the stock photos of this. It was new for $230. I think I initially listed it higher but sold it for $156. And the reason why I could get a good net profit on this is I actually was in Anthropologie, just in the store, looking at the sale rack items, and one of the sales clerks came over and was putting this back on the rack, and she turned to me. I was the only one in this section, and she turned to me and said, "Oh, are you a size medium? Are you interested in this piece? It's really amazing. Someone just returned this today, but it's because it's a year old. I have to price it at $19.95. I have to price it really, really low." So I took it. I actually was in Anthropologie to look for some retail arbitrage this day. So this clerk kind of dropped this great item right into my hands. So I did look it up and decided it would be a good buy. So this was interesting to me too, because I said to her, I thought Anthropologie had like a 90-day return policy. She said, "We do, but we really kind of take back anything at any time." So I'm sure the customer got store credit, but then they had to mark this at just $20 in the store. Anyway, this so $20 into $156, and my net profit was $104, and this took just 1 month to sell. This next item is a J. Crew schoolboy blazer, but it's even J. Crew factory line, which is the outlet or kind of discounted line. But it was it new with tags? Maybe not. This, I found it at Goodwill. I think I found a couple of blazers this day. It was a size 10, which was a great size. I think actually it just was a newer item. It was still on the website. But this sold for $119.99 on eBay, and the buyer paid shipping. My net profit was $98.25, and this took just 25 days to sell. Yes, I think that's why it did so well. I had the stock photos, but this was a blue kind of herringbone print, but the classic schoolboy style to it. So the 2 dots means factory, size 10, which was great. And I had the style code, recent. It was just fall of 22, and I had listed this in the fall of 2023. So this just took 1 month to sell. It was still on the website. I don't recall if they had a size 10 on the website or not. That can really help quite a bit. So yeah, this was a great flip. It was a wool blend, not pure wool, but I only pick up the blazers if there is wool in it, or if it's a different style than schoolboy. If it has linen, I'll pick those up. The next, I don't have any photos of this, but this was kind of a rare. I don't pick up a lot of Lafayette 148. Even the blazers and nice pieces do not really move fast or for really any money. But this I found at a local Savers. My average cost of goods this day was $10. This was a new with tags, Lafayette 148, a black wool, just very plain black, no design, a sheath dress in a size 14, which is a great size. And this ended up selling for, just about $125. So 10 into 125. This took 14 days to sell, and my net profit was $96.67. So I think if I find, a nice jacket or a dress in a larger size, and if it's new with tags and a real kind of timeless or classic piece or something that appeals to a lot of people, I would consider picking it up. But I don't think this is going to be common for most of us to be able to sell Lafayette 148 for over $100. If you have comments about that, please leave it below in the comments section. I'd love to hear, how this brand does for you. I have a couple blazers that really sit, and people just want to pay like $20 for them. So I'm not really sure what happened with this one, but this was a great flip. This next highest profit one is the brand Taos, which I believe is a comfort brand, but good materials and well made. These were a taller length boot with the lace up and some really great details. European sizing, but I found the conversion to be a US 7 to 7.5. I found these at a local community thrift shop, and shoes here were just $4. Sometimes they price up boots and things, but they had these just at $4. I sold these in the winter time in just 5 days in December of 2023. So they had a little bit of wear, nothing too much, and the heels looked great. So I like to pick up this brand anyway. I think I've usually found sandals. If they're really plain, basic shoes, I don't tend to pick up the comfort brands. But these boots had a lot going for them. They had the style right here and pretty good condition. So $4 into $125. My net profit was $96 and sold in just 5 days. This next item was new with tags, Free People, and extra small was their sizing. But I think a newer piece, this multicolor wrap long cardigan, oversized. They called it the Fair Isle sweater coat. Oh, yeah, extra small sizing, but new with tags. It had some kind of sticker. I don't recall if I took that off or not, but originally $298. This I got at a Plato's Closet. I had brought my own items to offload and recoup some money. And so this was in the fall of 2023. And when at my Plato's, when they do buy items from you that same day, if you purchase something, you get 20% off. So I got this for $16.08. I listed it in the fall, and it sold a couple months later. Took 82 days to sell. For $115 was the offer I accepted. So my net profit was $87.88. These shoes is the brand Clergerie. I believe it's a French brand. They all seem to have this platform design. I did find a stock photo, but it was this mesh derby loafer on the platform, and the platforms were not perfect. You see that color because I stuffed it with some tissue paper there. There was some dirt along here, but not much wear to the bottoms and no stains on the upper part. I think I tried to clean a little bit gently, but I didn't put too much work into these. There was some staining on the inside, where your two heels might come together, the inside there. They had this slit, but that's how it comes, so that you can actually bend your toes and walk. So I was really glad I could find kind of the brand and the styling. These did not have a size mark on them, so I did just take a toe to heel measurement here. So not of the outer platform, but of the inside. And this is the Clergerie Paris brand here. So I was able to find the style, as I said, in the stock photo. This came to me in a thread-up shoe mystery box. So my average cost per item was $4.27. This took 5 days to sell for $115. The buyer did have a comment that these fit smaller than they expected, or there was some kind of complaint, but they did not open a case, or it might have been after the 3 days on Poshmark. But the best I could do was really to measure inside and prompt the buyer to ask questions ahead of time. That's the nice thing about selling on Poshmark, is I think the sellers are more protected. So my net profit was $87.73. This next item sold on eBay. This was a suit, Peter Millar, which does sweaters. I've picked up golf polos and other things. It sold to somebody in Alaska. So this was the pants and the jacket. I found this at a Savers. My average cost this day was $6.45 per item, and I put that for the whole suit. My average, I didn't put, $6 per piece when I counted my items. This sold in just 9 days for $112.49 plus the shipping. I have some better pictures here. these photos of, I don't do a lot of two-piece suits, but I learned this from somebody else on YouTube who's a reseller, just some tips on, actually a couple people had videos on how to photograph and measure. So I do like this method of having the jacket there and then the pants over the shoulders. So right away the buyer knows that it's, the two pieces. But then with the photo limit, it gets a little tricky to have everything that you want to have for the two items. This coloration is better. That's why I did the close-up and to show the lapels here. And Peter Millar. I was surprised to find a suit. I guess I didn't realize they made suits. But the $6.45 into 112 and change was about $87 of profit. It was a good size, a 44 regular. And then the pants as well was cuffed. So I think the buyer had some questions for me on this. As I mentioned, I try to have a lot of measures. I did the pants with a whole bunch of measures as well as the jacket with a whole bunch of measures. But I think that extra effort paid off. The next highest profit item was a pair of AYR jeans. Forget what that stands for. This is only the second time I found thrifted and sold these. These were a great size 30, 100% cotton, so that rigid denim. And I was able to find the wash, the style name, and a stock photo. So I wouldn't say these are necessarily in style. I guess the crop is right now and a little bit of a flare to the leg, but this kind of wash and all this faded distressing didn't feel too current to me, but this sold for $112. I found this at a Savers where my average cost this day was $7.22. This took 16 days to sell. My net profit was $82.38. This item was a retail arbitrage piece. This was a ReFabFashion brand, a cashmere long cardigan sweater, and I found it new with tags. I found it at a Nordstrom rack and looked it up while I was in the store. This was a size small, and I believe there were other small ones listed at the time, but I don't think they were new with tags. I paid $73.97 for this, so I really paid up into this. The new with tags, Nordstrom had the price tag on there at $248, but actually online I found that it was $298 initially, so this was the Nordstrom price. About 100% cashmere, 90% recycled, and 10 new, I suppose. So this sold for $195, so my net profit was $82.03. So with the 74 into it and getting 82 profit on top of that, I doubled my investment here. And thankfully this took just 37 days to sell, so just over a month to get my investment money back out and doubling that money. This is another men's blazer, Brooks Brothers, but it was Harris tweed, which is a particular kind of tweed material, well known. I was able to find, based on the pattern, I think I did this through a Google Lens lookup, I was able to find that stock photo. It had a really neat pattern to it, and a decent size 41 regular. This is not plaid, this is window pane. Well, I suppose it's kind of multi-window pane, so, but with this thicker bar here, I would call this window pane. I also use the word plaid, but this is a time to also use window pane here. This I found at a Goodwill. My average cost of goods this day was just over $7. This sold in the spring after just 15 days for $111. So my average, my net profit on this was $79.65. So if you feel kind of this thicker wool material, I would always kind of flip open the flaps here and look. One side, if you do see the Harris Tweed logo, I would look into it more. That with Brooks Brothers makes this pretty strong. If it's, not a really well-known brand. I have another Harris Tweed blazer that's been sitting for a long time. I think I'm just trying to get like $50 for it. There's certainly less going on than this colorful window pane. So it's not a guarantee, but I think this with the Brooks Brothers plus the unique kind of color and pattern really helped this one. This next item is an MM LaFleur dress. I was able to find the stock photos, the style name, and it's a size 6. This came to me in a thread-up bulk mystery box. I think this was a 200-pound buy that I did in fall of 2022. I think I did need to wash this and clean it at the underarms. But my average cost of goods for this thread-up box was under $1. I sold it for $100, and my net profit was $79.19, and this took 23 days to sell. This also came to me in a thread-up box, different buy, a Kate Spade floral dress. I was, again, able to find the stock photos and the kind of styling, botanical, I think, was in their item description, so I used that instead of floral. It was listed as a size medium. I did use my mannequin here, which is a size 4 to 6, so I usually kind of note that if I use the mannequin just to give people a reference point. I always do like to put measures also of every item. It just saves in terms of questions, and I think helps buyers feel a little more confident when they like an item. But this was a really pretty dress. Again, it was just under $1 per item in this thread-up mystery box. I sold it for $98, so my net profit was $77.42, and this took 3 months to sell. Okay, number 19 on my list here of highest profits for 2023, a pair of Silver Lake jeans. This is the first and only time so far that I found these. I found the style name. They were the London jeans. Found the wash name, size 29, kind of an ankle length, but a looser leg here. I had some questions about that, about the fit and such. But I found these at a Goodwill. My average cost this day was $5 per item, and sold for $104 with a shipping discount on Poshmark. My net profit was $76.18, and these took 50 days to sell. Here's the tag here. So the I and the E are missing, but lake is a complete word here. And number 20 on the list is an Ulla Johnson blouse called the Constance Silk Chiffon Peasant Blouse, and this had a few different color and patterns as far as I could tell. So this was a micro floral in a blue color. This was mostly silk, a little bit of synthetic. This I got at a community thrift shop for $4.05. Their blouses and tops are pretty low, and they clearly didn't know the brand on this. This I sold for $99 on Poshmark, and my net profit was $74.70. This did take 71 days to sell. I had this listed higher, and I was getting low. I think I had it listed close to $200 and was getting some lower offers, well under $100. So that played into taking longer to sell. I think if I had priced it around $120, $100, it certainly would have sold faster. And you know, some of these higher end brands, you want to make sure you're getting something authentic. I guess it depends where you purchase. At this community thrift shop, you know, the community that donates here, they tend to be a wealthier community, so my concern is a little bit lower than, let's say, if I were at a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. But it did seem authentic from the tags, and as I said, I was able to find the exact style and everything, so that gave me some assurance. So thank you for joining me. I hope this was interesting to you and helpful. Maybe some new brands that you've heard of, and maybe some ideas of where to get items that are going to give you a good profit, and also some that you might pay up for versus really keeping your cost lower. You know, I think any of these I would have paid up for, even though some I was able to get, for example, in the thread up boxes for really cheap, or at the community thrift shops where they don't know the brands. That ends up being more exciting in terms of profit margin. But thanks so much for joining. Subscribe if you'd like more content about what sold, hauls. I do have a office tour coming up and reviewing my inventory system. So please consider subscribing if you'd like to be made aware of when those videos come out. I am trying to post twice a week and get you some timely and good information. So thanks very much and hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.